Hello everyone, ready for a new story? Don't forget to subscribe if you like our work, please. Some stories belong to the past. Some are yet to come. Some exist in worlds we can only imagine. Here, every story, from history to fantasy, from reality to the unknown, finds its voice. Welcome to Echoes Beyond Time.
Now we are going to tell the third part of the story of Melkor, and how his name was changed forever to Morgoth. If you haven't seen the previous parts yet, make sure to watch them, especially if you love Middle-earth stories and want to follow the history from the very beginning. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. This really helps us, and it gives us the motivation to continue and tell you the stories of Middle-earth in the most faithful way possible, with all the important details, so it feels like you're walking through the books themselves. Now let us begin. When the War of the Powers finally ended, the world was still shaking from it. In the far north, the great fortress of Utumno, Melkor's oldest and mightiest stronghold, had fallen. Its endless pits, frozen vaults, and cavernous halls had been broken, cracked, or collapsed by the power of the Valar. Many of Melkor's creatures were destroyed. Fiends made of shadow and flame, twisted spirits, monsters and great beasts. Others fled into deep places of the world, hiding like venom under stone. But one thing was certain: Melkor himself had been captured. The Valar bound him in the chain called Angainor. This chain was no ordinary metal. It was crafted by Ulle, the smith of the Valar, with knowledge deeper than the metals of the earth. Angainor was made to restrain a being whose will could bend mountains. The tighter Melkor struggled, the more unbreakable it became. He who once walked the music of the Ainur as one of the mightiest, now was dragged in chains across the lands. The Valar carried him from the ruins of the north all the way to Aman, the Blessed Realm in the west, where they dwelt under the light of the two trees of Valinor. Their city, Valimar, and its surrounding plains glowed with a light that was soft yet powerful, unlike anything in Middle-earth. They brought Melkor into that land of pure harmony, this being who hated harmony more than anything. For him, the light of Valinor was not comfort, it was torture. Every ray reminded him of what he had tried to destroy and failed to corrupt. There, in the west, the Valar passed judgment. Melkor was handed over to Mandos, the doomsman of the Valar, whose halls lie outside of time as elves and men know it. The decree was that Melkor would be imprisoned for 3 great ages, 3 vast spans of time, not clearly defined but long enough that empires could rise and fall many times over. In the halls of Mandos, there were no iron bars or obvious chains. Melkor's prison was something worse: absolute powerlessness and endless time to think. He could not act, only remember. He could not dominate, only hate. Some say that in those ages, the last fragments of anything noble or repentant in him were burned away. His pride was not broken. It was condensed into something sharper and more poisonous. While he lay in darkness, the world outside changed. The Elves, the firstborn children of Iluvatar, had awakened beside the waters of Cuiviénen in Middle-earth. The Valar, fearing what Melkor might do to them if he were free, had fought the War of the Powers partly for their sake. Now, with Melkor bound, the Valar turned their full attention to these new beings. They decided to bring many of the elves to Aman into the safety and beauty of the Blessed Realm. 3 great hosts came west. The Vanyar, fair and golden-haired, most loyal to Manwë and Vardar. The Noldor, the deep elves, lovers of craft, knowledge, and creation. The Teleri, the sea elves, slower and more reluctant, drawn to the shores and songs of the waves. Under the light of the 2 trees, Telperion and Lorelin, the elves grew in wisdom and skill. Cities rose, Tirion upon the green hill of Tuna, white-walled and crowned with the Tower of Ingwe, and later the House of Feanor. The world seemed peaceful. A golden age. But far away in silence, Melkor's hatred matured. He watched. He waited. When the 3 ages of his punishment were at last completed, Melkor presented a new face to the Valar. He humbled himself. He spoke gently. He claimed repentance. He said he regretted the ruin of the world, the war, the darkness he had spread. He offered to help heal what he had broken. Manwë, king of the Valar, who embodied mercy and pure good, believed that repentance was possible. He knew the music of the Ainur, and in that music no note was meant to be forever lost. He could not fully grasp a will that would choose evil eternally. So, by Manwë's decision, Melkor was released from Angainor. He was allowed to walk again in Valinor, under watch, under suspicion from some, but still free. He roamed the Blessed Realm wearing a mask. To many he appeared mild and wise. He spoke honeyed words. He visited the Elves, especially the Noldor, and praised their talents. But inside, nothing had changed. He still desired power over all things. He still hated the Valar for chaining him. And now he envied the Elves more than ever, especially the Noldor, who were growing into masters of craft and thought, something he had always wanted to bend to his own will. Among the Noldor, one elf shone brighter than all others, Feanor, son of Finwë, High King of the Noldor. Feanor's mind burned like a star. He crafted works that even Orly admired. His greatest creations were 3 jewels, 3 perfect crystals, the Silmarils. Inside each Silmaril, Feanor captured the mixed light of both trees, silver of Telperion and gold of Lorelin, pure, living, unmarred. They were not just jewels, they were small worlds of light, singing with the memory of creation. When Melkor saw the Silmarils, he desired them more than anything he had ever desired before. All his earlier greed for realms, for dominion, for worship suddenly focused into one narrow, terrible hunger. To possess the Silmarils, he did not only want to hold them. He wanted to claim them, to twist them into symbols of his triumph over the Valar and the Elves. But he could not simply steal them. They were guarded, revered, and, most of all, trusted only to Feanor and Finwë. So Melkor chose a subtler weapon, lies. He began among the Noldor, walking quietly in their streets, talking in small groups, leaning closer, whispering. He said things like, "Why do you, the greatest of all elves, live always under the rule of the Valar? Do you not see? They have brought you here to keep an eye on you. Middle-earth is wide, still empty, waiting for your kingships. But you are kept here in a cage of light." Not all Noldor believed him, but his words settled like dust in the corners of their minds. They began to wonder, why did we leave our first home? Why can we not return freely? Are we guests or prisoners? He aimed these thoughts especially at Feanor. Melkor knew Feanor's pride, his fierce love of freedom, his possessiveness over his creations. So he added another poison. He hinted that Fingolfin, Feanor's half-brother, son of Finwë by his second wife Indis, might try to usurp his place. He suggested that the Valar might secretly prefer Fingolfin, calmer, more obedient, more reasonable. These were not completely baseless, they were twisted half-truths. Some elves did feel closer to Fingolfin. Some admired his steadiness more than Feanor's fire. Melkor did not invent all conflict, he simply inflamed what was already there. The tension grew until it finally erupted. One day, armed and blazing with rage, Feanor confronted Fingolfin. He drew his sword, standing in front of him in Tirion, and threatened him. He accused him of wanting to steal his place as the eldest son and rightful heir of Finwë. This was unthinkable among the elves, for one elf to draw a blade on another in Valinor itself. The Valar summoned Feanor to judgment. In their court, surrounded by the light of the trees and the gaze of all powers, the truth behind his anger was sought out. There Mandos spoke plainly. He revealed that the source of all these suspicions and divisions was Melkor's whispering. Feanor realized he had been manipulated. Shame and fury burned in him, but his pride didn't allow him to completely bow. The Valar decreed that Feanor must leave Tirion for a time. He was banished to the fortress city of Formenos, far to the north of Valinor. There he would dwell in semi-exile, taking with him his closest followers, his treasures and, most importantly, the Silmarils. Finwë, his father, chose to go with him, leaving Tirion and the rest of his people under the rule of Fingolfin. So, because of Melkor's lies, the Noldor were now divided. Feanor and Finwë in Formenos, Fingolfin ruling in Tirion, and a shadow of distrust between their houses. Melkor had achieved his first goal, fracture, but now he had another advantage. The Silmarils, the objects of his greatest desire, were no longer in the very heart of Valinor. They were in a more isolated place, guarded only by the Noldor themselves. After Mandos revealed his role in the unrest, Melkor no longer dared to walk openly among the Valar. Suspicion had fallen upon him. Eyes followed him, so he vanished. He slipped away from the sight of the Valar, traveling south and then east, hiding in valleys, in shadows under cliffs, far from Valimar. For a while, even the Valar did not know where he had gone. In that wandering, he found another ancient darkness. The monstrous spider-like being known as Ungoliant. Ungoliant dwelt in the deep south in a land of shadows called Avathar, beneath the southern mountains of Amman. She was a creature whose origin is mysterious, perhaps a spirit that turned to darkness, but now she was something far more terrible, a devourer of light. She wove nets of inky shadows so dense that even the light of the stars could not penetrate them. Her hunger was endless. She drank light and spun darkness. Melkor came to her in the form of a dark, towering figure wearing a cloak of shadows. He offered her a bargain. If she aided him in striking at the Valar, he would feed her more light and treasure than she could imagine. He promised that she could drink the very heart of Valinor's radiance. Ungoliant hesitated, but her hunger was stronger than her fear. She agreed. Together they wove a cloak of darkness thicker than any night. They climbed the northern slopes of Taniktil, the high mountain of Manwë, where the winds usually tore away every cloud. But Ungoliant's darkness was not like normal shadow. It clung, it smothered, it hid even from the sight of Manwë.
Thank you for watching. Every story leaves an echo, and this one has reached its end. If you enjoyed the journey, give it a like. It truly helps us grow. Tell us in the comments what story you'd like to hear next, from the past, the future, or a world beyond. And don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss the next echo on Echoes Beyond Time. Thank you for watching. Every story leaves an echo, and this one has reached its end.